What's going on, guys? Glock Guy 226 here. Tonight, I'm finally ready to give the full rundown, my opinion on this agency arms barrel, and to get to the point of, are these Glock aftermarket barrels worth the money? Now, I have right around 1,000 rounds through this thing as we speak. I think it's a little over 1,050 rounds, but I made a past video on this barrel, and I had about 400 rounds through it, and I just didn't feel like that was a sufficient amount of rounds to really give a good recommendation on an aftermarket barrel. Now, I was very happy with it at that point. There was no negatives by any means. I just didn't feel like I was ready to tell my subscribers and viewers that, yes, you should run out and get a barrel. So with this agency arms barrel, guys, pretty much just some of the specs are, it is a 1 in 10 twist, 4/16 R stainless steel. It has SAMI spec rifling instead of your traditional polygonal rifling that's found in most barrels, stock Glock barrels. And really the difference in that rifling is, with the SAMI spec rifling, it's meant to shoot lead bullets, jacketed bullets, your full metal jacket bullets, where your traditional polygonal rifling in these Glock barrels, Glock will void your warranty if you shoot any lead bullets. So, that might not be a big deal to you, but that is pretty much the biggest difference in the rifling itself. Now, this agency barrel in particular has octagonal fluting, a really nice beveled polished crown, and I really like the fact that, this is a non-threaded barrel. So if you have a threaded barrel, you're obviously going to have either a suppressor or at least a thread protector. And I like the fact that agency kind of made it look like a nut on the end of here, so it looks pretty cool when it's sticking out of the gun. Now, a cool thing about these aftermarket barrels is they're a fully supported chamber, which really means it gives you a much better fit in the gun overall versus your stock Glock barrel. And more or less, if you were to get a hot load that could potentially blow up your stock Glock barrel, these barrels are just a little bit tougher, guys. Like I said, they fit a little bit tighter in there. And the only downside to that I have seen is this is a Gen 4 Glock 19 recoil spring. Hopefully you guys will be able to pick it up. But because of that barrel being so in spec compared to the stock barrel, it has actually bent the lip right there on my left hand side of my hand, if you could see that. It actually has bent that lip a little bit because it's a little bit tighter of a fit. Now, the gun still runs just fine. I noticed that right about 500 rounds, and like I said, I've put about another 550 rounds through it without an issue yet. I think I will replace that, but as of right now, it works. It's not a big deal. So I went ahead and cleaned the barrel real quick, guys. I just really wanted to show you guys how nice this thing cleans up. This is the first time I cleaned it up, but I did a few times take the barrel out, kind of wipe it off with my fingers just to see how the finish would hold up. And after 1,000 rounds, guys, I think this thing has held up pretty nicely. There's definitely a few spots that you could see wear. I'm not doubting that. But overall, guys, I'm pretty happy with it. Back here in the chamber area, it was pretty dirty, as you guys seen on video. And I definitely had to scrub the crap out of it to get that to clean up. But overall, it cleaned up pretty nice. And I can say I'm pretty happy with it. I wasn't too sure about the titanium nitride coating at first. I've just never been a big fan of the gold looking stuff, flashy kind of stuff, but overall I'm pretty happy I went with it. So thanks Mike at Tango Arms for talking me into getting the tin barrel. It's been a good experience so far. So to get into accuracy, guys, that's really one of the biggest points of getting a new barrel, an aftermarket barrel. And in the case of the agency arms barrel, and my experience with it in those 1,000 rounds, I definitely see my groups tighten up. Now, I am not by any means a competitive shooter. I'm a tactical operator. I'm just a normal guy who is a gun enthusiast, likes gun parts, trying stuff out, just like most of us here are. So, from as far as I could tell, I didn't have, I wasn't shooting off a bench. I didn't have the gun locked up or nothing like that. But as far as freehand shooting, I definitely seen an improvement in shooting. Now, mainly with 147 grain, the heavier weight bullets seem to like those a little bit more compared to the 124s and 115s. So, after throwing my Glock barrel in a few times, running 50 rounds or so through it, kind of just getting that normal feel for it, and then putting the agency barrel back in, it definitely seemed like it was tightening up on groups anyways. Now I think I'm going to further do a video on that sometime of the actual, sitting down, camera on target type of deal. I'm sorry I didn't do that, guys. I just really was kind of determined to get these 1,000 rounds through it to be able to at least talk about it and give you guys my opinions on it. So overall, I would say for the guys that do 3-gun, competition, whatever, IDPA type stuff, there's definitely a huge advantage to getting an aftermarket barrel, and most of those guys know that, so they go ahead and do that anyways. For us normal guys, it really just depends if that's something you want. If you don't want to put aftermarket parts on your gun, you by no means have to, and your gun more than likely will function up to your capabilities anyways. To be completely honest, a stock Glock would be just fine for me, but I enjoy customizing guns. Like I said before, I enjoy doing functional upgrades to it, so everything I've done thus far, I'm very happy with. Overall, guys, if you are interested in a barrel, if it's something you've been thinking about, kind of going back and forth about, I would say just go ahead and do it. Now, you don't have to go all out and get an agency barrel. They're really cool. There's no doubt about that. If you want top-notch stuff, this is definitely it. But, if you were to get a Blacklist or S3F barrel, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's also a lot of other nice barrels out there, like KKM Precision. I don't have a whole lot of experience with them. There's a few other barrels that I've had in the past, though, such as Lone Wolf, that I personally just really didn't care for very much. Now, another big reason why a lot of guys are going to get a barrel is to have a threaded barrel, and that's completely understood. If you want to run suppressed or a compensator, which compensators are getting more and more popular too, you would definitely go for a threaded barrel. Now, if you are wanting to do something like a caliber, conversion, get a 9mm or a 40 to 9mm barrel. That's pretty common. Or even 9 to 357 SIG, whatever it may be, would be another reason you would look into an aftermarket barrel. For me, it was more or less just the full purpose of, are these barrels worth the money? Is this a logical upgrade, for your gun, for the everyday shooter? And my conclusion to that, for me personally, is I really like how it performs. I like the tight fit in the gun. Overall, I just personally like it. I feel like it is a more accurate barrel than your standard Glock barrel. So for me, guys, I would go ahead and say yes. I do plan on ordering another barrel for my Glock 43 sometime here in the near future. I'm not really sure what I'm going to go with. It's pretty much down to S3F or Blacklist at this point, and they're pretty much the same barrels like I've stated. But, you also want looks to be a factor in that. And I think that's a big reason why the agency arms barrel shines. There's nothing wrong with a barrel, a stock barrel by any means. And I know a lot of guys are going to say that's stupid, that you care about the looks of your guns and this and that. I agree with you there. I don't so much put looks before function by any means whatsoever. But at the same time, if you're going to spend your money on it, you do want it to look good. No one out there can say they want to dump $1,000 into a gun and have it look like a piece of crap. I'm one of those guys that's all for you spending your money how you want to spend it. If you build an AR that I personally don't like, I'm not going to hate on it because it's what you like. It may not be what I would have built or what I would have done, but as long as you're happy, that's what matters. So if you want to get a barrel for your Glock, in my opinion, as far as accuracy goes, like I said, overall, just the tight fit, supported chamber, I think it's a great idea. So thank you guys for watching this video. Big shout out to Mike at Tango Arms. He is just such a good guy. I can't even begin to tell you guys. And I've had a lot of my subscribers go over there and do business with him and shoot me an email or a message saying, man, thanks for the recommendation, bragging about shipping and overall price. I mean, Mike is just a great guy. I can't recommend him enough, guys. And don't forget to use code GlockGuy226. From what I know, if you say you want an agency arms trigger, they're about $150 or so, then plus shipping and whatnot. So if you use the code GlockGuy226, you'll pretty much get that trigger shipped to you for around $140. So overall, that's a pretty good price. I'm thankful that Mike was cool enough to do that for me. So thank you guys for watching. Please like this video, sub to the channel if you haven't already, guys, and have a good night.